All right, guys. So it's been quite a little while since the NHL playoffs were actually on, but I've been trying to set up OBS on my computer for a little while. By trying to, I mean I've been too lazy to set up OBS on my laptop for a while, but I finally set it up, which now means that I can do my reaction to my prediction of the NHL playoffs. It has been quite a little while, like I said, since this happened, so I don't remember what I predicted to a T. I remember, I think I predicted Montreal, Tampa wrong, but I did say that Tampa was going to beat Carolina to make the Eastern Conference final. Um, if they made it, but if Montreal made it, then Carolina would have beat them. I think I said that, which is actually a W prediction if I did say that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and find out. Going to throw on the headphones here. Here's the original video, as you can see. Let's go ahead and give it a watch. Yeah, I got nothing else better to say. Let's go. All right, so I'm a little late to this whole thing, obviously. Right off the bat, I'm a little late to this whole thing, too. But you know what? That's the game, That's the game. That's the laziness game. So it's currently about 11:30 on April 19th. So hockey in the playoffs has already been going on for nice. Let's see what day it is today. It's 10:30 on July 29th. So make of that what you will. Basically 2 days at this point. So real quick, we're just going to do a quick little review of what's been going on before I get into my bracket, because obviously I have a little insight as what's going on here. Senators, Hurricanes winning 2-0. All right, so here's just a little recap that I did. I forgot I did this. Let's go ahead and just skip past this. Let's get into the actual predictions here. Series number 1.
All right, series 1. Here we go.
I have Colorado sweeping. Colorado sweeping. That is exactly what happened. So I am correct there. That's what I love to see. Colorado in 5. The LA pulls off 1. I didn't think LA was going to do shit, and it turns out they didn't do anything. So that's a correct prediction right there, 100% correct. But then again, that's not exactly the hardest thing in the world to predict. I think after that 2-1 game, I definitely see that as a possibility. I don't think it goes further than 5, and I think Colorado got warmed up in that game, and I think game 1 was their warm-up game, and they won it, even though they were very clearly, in my opinion, getting warmed up, kind of getting back into their true form, and they did, and they won. So I don't really think this is going to be a close series at all, and I think it's going to be a sweep. Yeah, pretty spot on prediction right there, I think. I mean, I don't know if necessarily it was as much of a warm up game as it was just getting the rust off, which I guess could be considered a warm up game, but playoff hockey is a different kind of hockey. It was a tight first game, I do remember that, but it was always going to be Colorado in 4. Let's not take the piss here. Moving to the next, we got Dallas and Minnesota. I have Dallas in. Oh, there's the first bit of a wrong prediction right there. Minnesota won it in 6. The fact the series didn't even go 7 was beyond me. I thought Dallas had. Let's see what I say, because I really did think Dallas had the personnel to get it done this season. 7. Now, after seeing the Wild beat Dallas 6-1 on home ice, like Dallas home ice, I am a little skeptical of this pick. Well, I was right to be skeptical. Yeah, I think doing this prediction, I'm glad I didn't change to Minnesota, honestly, even though seeing Minnesota win that game 1, because one game doesn't tell you anything, realistically speaking, in the playoffs. I mean, you see reverse sweeps happen sometimes. Hell, even like a couple years ago, Edmonton almost came back from 4-0 down. Or, sorry, 3-0 down in the series. Like shit happens, right? So I'm glad I didn't go back on my own word just for integrity's sake, but should have gone back on my own word, because not to say Minnesota dominated the series by any stretch of the imagination, but being able to beat Dallas 6-1 should have given me enough to know that Minnesota was going to go through. I didn't expect that at all. I expected a close series at the very least. I hate both these teams. I decided to wear my Blues jersey today because my 2 favorite teams, Capitals and Blues. There's a lot of fucking Central teams I don't like. Rocking the Blues hoodie for this video. Unplanned, but whatever. So I started wearing my Blues jersey just to kind of, in solidarity of the fact that I hate the fucking Central, despite the fact that they're unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Dallas had the talent to beat Minnesota. I do still think they have the talent to beat Minnesota, but I think losing by 5 goals, 6-1 on your own ice, like, the saying, you're not in trouble till you lose on home ice. You lost on home ice bad. So I definitely am curious to see how this series is going to play out. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point that I made there. Yeah, losing 6-1 on home ice is something that only the Toronto Maple Leafs have really gotten the beauty and perfection of. So seeing that happen, I definitely do like. It was like, looking back, it in hindsight, hindsight is 2020, but I think it was pretty obvious that Minnesota wins that after that kind of performance in Game 1. And I know I just am contradicting myself because I said you don't have to look at Game 1 to justify everything, but that's a big win. So yeah, fair enough. It's fine getting that one wrong. I always saw that one as kind of a coin flip, so whatever. Next we got Utah and Vegas.
Ooh,
I got
Utah,
Vegas in 6.
Vegas in 6.
I got that correct. I got that 100% correct. This again, I feel like was fairly easy to predict. The Utah squad was all right, but nowhere near to the extent of Vegas' squad in terms of talent, in terms of really anything. So yeah, I think that was a fairly easy one to predict. Like I said, right now you'll know how this series goes out. I'm gonna try to edit this video and get it posted tomorrow. So you're probably seeing this on 420. But did I get it up by 420? 3 months ago, April 20th. Let's fucking go. So you know how the Vegas game went. I'll put the score up right now. Either way, however this goes, I do think, bro, I miss Nick Dowd so much. He was so valuable on the fourth line. Vegas is going to pull it off, even if the Mammoth end up pulling through with this game. I just think Vegas is too deep. I think they have too much playoff experience. Obviously, Utah making it. It's essentially just the Arizona Coyotes, and not a lot of that core has any playoff experience. So I'm not too worried about Vegas winning that series, even though I fucking hate Carter Hart.
True.
And then at least Edmonton and Anaheim, which is ironic because then the Blues decided to sign a dude from that whole scandal in the World Juniors, which, honestly, thinking about that, I'm going to take this fucking hoodie off. Just kind of abhorrent behavior from the St. Louis Blues. One of the, probably my least favorite thing they've ever done in their entire, no, definitely my least favorite thing they've ever done in the entire existence of the franchise. So now I'm in my USMN t-shirt, which is not necessarily better on the terms of politics, but, and shit like that, because of our president, but we're not going to make this political right now. Let's get back into the predictions. What do we got next? I have Edmonton in 5.
Edmonton in 5?
I do think Anaheim. I'm not acting like that this pick is a bad pick. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, I should have gotten this one right. I should have predicted that fucking Anaheim was going to win in 6, because team for team, what? No. Anaheim didn't have a better team. I'm not accepting that. I'm just simply not. This was a fucking curveball, and fuck it. Fuck Anaheim. Anaheim has the Pacific's so bad. I mean, the Pacific is just, Pacific team made the Stanley Cup final. Hate to see it. It's terrible. So considering, the best Pacific team is Vegas, who was far and away the best Pacific team. Edmonton, when you get to the playoffs, it's a completely different team. The regular season Edmonton is so different from playoff Edmonton. And it's the same thing. It's what everybody was saying about the Panthers. If the Panthers had made it, they played just such different hockey in the playoffs, and I think it's really going to be interesting to see how guys like Connor McDavid, and they're getting Leon Draisaitl back. I think they'll take this young Ducks team pretty handedly. So they didn't actually do that. I think I didn't weight just how bad their goalies were at this point. I think I was just thinking, McDavid, Draisaitl, there's no way, right? Their goalies were so fucking bad all season in their playoffs. It just stinky goalies. Like, I don't think I took that into account as much as I should have. I don't think that the Ducks have what it takes. Oops. Next, we have Buffalo and Boston. I have Boston in 6. Now, maybe I don't know puck at all. Maybe I just know fucking nothing about the sport that I've watched my entire life. Maybe I was just wasting my fucking time. Another one wrong. We had Buffalo in 6 here. I think this one for me, I think I'm going to explain it here in a second. I think it was just all experience. I think this was 100% an experience pick, and that was the wrong play. I think, you know what? Now, watching Buffalo win that game, I think I say Buffalo's the better team. They're on home ice, and they are the best team in the Atlantic. I do believe that. They scored 4 unanswered in the third to win a game on home ice. That. Again, Boston's not in trouble till they lose on home ice. I think this Boston team being a wild card, Pasternak's ridiculous, and I think it just simply comes down to experience for me. That's what I was saying. I think this was just an experience pick, and I was just not the play. And that's why I think Boston does take this series. They have so many players who have really been here like that. Buffalo doesn't. They had the longest playoff list streak, and now it's Detroit, who should have made it, but that's a different story. Buffalo, nobody on that team besides players they picked up, but the core, the talent of that team hasn't really been there for the playoffs. So I think that's really going to hinder their performance. And I do think Boston is going to turn it on, become their playoff selves, and advance. So they didn't, but I also don't think that that's that bad of a prediction. Like, I feel like usually taking the more experienced team is the safer option. So I'm not too mad at getting that one wrong, all things said and done, hearing my reasoning. I feel like that's not outrageous. Next, we have Tampa and Montreal. I have Tampa in 7. Now, look, okay, I went 7 and Montreal won. Just listen. I remember this because I was 100% right, and I remember this is the only one I remember. Listen to this fucking explanation, bro. Seeing Montreal win the first game, again, Tampa lost on home ice, whatever. It went to overtime. It was a very close game. 2 very strong offensive teams. Kucherov can turn it on at any point. Slavkovsky can turn it on at any point. Demidov, Hudson, Caulfield, Gunsel. There's so much firepower. I think this series is going to come down to experience again. And I think it's going to come down to Vasilevsky. I think if Vasilevsky plays like Vasilevsky does in the playoffs, when the Lightning are good, I do think they'll end up squeaking out against Montreal. I also think that Montreal and Tampa are the 2, besides Carolina, Montreal and Tampa are the 2 best teams in the East. I still stand by that. I still think that's correct. Also, I think I explained the whole Tampa-Montreal thing that I've been talking about in the actual conference final. I don't think I spoil it, so don't watch this explanation. I lied to you. However, I still agree with that take. I still think they were the 2 best teams besides Carolina, who obviously won the cup. So, I think that was a fair prediction from me. I do think that was the case. They got as far as to Carolina, where Carolina eventually dealt with them pretty handedly. But I still believe that either Tampa or Montreal would have made it to the conference final of whoever advanced. And I was right about Montreal making it. But I was right about Montreal, that team. I was right in saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that I think Tampa would have made it too. Whatever. So I do think Tampa will go far if they beat Montreal in this series, but I think that's a big if. And I think vice versa. If Montreal ends up squeaking it out against Tampa, I think Montreal is going to go far because I really do feel that's puck knowledge right there. Bang, strongly about those 2 teams. Because the only other team I think they could give either of those 2 teams trouble is playing in this next series, which is Carolina versus Ottawa. I have Carolina in 5. I was right. Carolina was the only team that gave them trouble. Carolina being Ottawa in 5, they beat them in 4. That was another save pick. I think I just gave Ottawa 1 just for rust. But 4-5, who cares? It was going to be dominated by Carolina. This was obvious. Carolina shut out Ottawa. They play their boring hockey. They do what they do. It's Carolina in the playoffs. They're going to play defensive hockey. They're going to save every shot you throw at them, and you're not going to score a goal. Brandon Bussey predicted that shit right. He literally came into the finals and just refused to let in goals. That's just how Carolina is in the fucking finals. It's just kind of how they play. It's frustrating. I had to endure it as a Caps fan a couple years back. Last year, it's frustrating. It's annoying. It's very, very fucking frustrating. Carolina hockey. They're going to advance to the next round, in my opinion, and I think they're going to do it pretty handedly, especially because that Ottawa team is just not that good, in my opinion. I was correct to say that. And then we move to the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
And what did I say here? As it pains me to say. Oh, God, I said Pittsburgh. There's actually a lot of teams on both sides. Did I say Pittsburgh? That I really hate as a Blues and a Caps fan. Please don't say it. I had to pick Pittsburgh winning. Look, guys, please, just please. Look, it makes sense, guys. Experience usually takes you further in the playoffs. I swear to God. I made an entire bracket in 2022, and I predicted the finals right, and I predicted Colorado winning, and I picked that purely off experience, guys. Please hear me out, bro. Please, experience is a thing. I promise I'm not crazy. This series in 7. Now, Philadelphia is the stronger defensive team. I will give them that, and they did win the first game, and they honestly kind of look dominant. I'm a little bit skeptical of this pick. Should have been looking back. Should have been skeptical. Mm-hmm. I do think Philadelphia could absolutely win this, and I also do think this is a toss-up series, but I also think this is a series deciding who gets to lose to Carolina next, because Pittsburgh's so fucking old. I was right there. I was right to say that it's deciding who loses to Carolina. I don't think Pittsburgh would have won a game either against Philadelphia. I don't think Pittsburgh would have won a game against Carolina either, like Philadelphia didn't in the next round. I think that's fairly obvious. So while it's paused, I might as well look here. So I got Colorado right, Vegas right, and Carolina right. I got 3 teams right. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad for the first round here. That's pretty bad. I don't really give a fuck about Pittsburgh. This explanation. It's just probably me saying they're older. Colorado and Dallas. I had Colorado winning it all. I do have Colorado winning this and going to the final. Yeah, I had Colorado winning it all, so I know they advance here. I was right to have Colorado making the conference final. So that's good to see at least. But again, not exactly a hard prediction. Yeah, they kind of wiped the floor with Minnesota. I didn't even have Minnesota going in through, so I'm gonna skip the explanation point here because the points are just kind of whatever at this point. Because obviously the team I predicted didn't play Colorado. So let's just advance again here a little further until we get to the next series. I don't think the President's Trophy curse is a thing for them. I just think that is ridiculous. Ooh, okay, so that actually is a big statement right there. I don't think the President's Trophy curse is a thing for them. It ended up being a thing for them. Also, I have no idea who I chose next. I really hope I didn't take Edmonton. I might have taken Edmonton here, and I really hope I didn't because it's a horrible shout if I did. It's a horrible shout having them get to the conference final after going out in the first round. I don't really see, again, like I said, I don't really see a world where they don't win this series. I think Colorado goes very, very far. Next, we have Vegas and Edmonton. I have Edmonton. Again, dog! What is my issue? Why? What? They have me in goal at this point, bro. What do you mean Edmonton? Why? Can I hear your reasoning? It's different hockey. You can't look at, obviously, every year goaltending's the question for Edmonton, and every year they outscore their opponent. What? It's just something about them in the playoffs. I have no doubt. I don't care. Why? Why did you not have doubt? Why? Genuinely, why? The goal, why? Goalie, the goaltender situation got worse. How? Why? I'm a fucking idiot, dude. Bad they were in the regular season. I never care about how bad they are in the regular season.
Care!
All they gotta do is make it, and they could absolutely go on a run. They could absolutely win the fucking thing. Like, Edmonton's one
Out
of
in
those
the first
teams
round,
that,
bro.
Again, like, once you get there, like, you can do anything in the playoffs, and that's not true for all teams. So I mean, as a blanket statement, that's not inherently untrue. It's not like Edmonton was like the best team in the world when they went to back-to-back Stanley Cups, but they were still a lot better than they were last season. Man, I was really riding high on them. What the fuck kind of crack was I smoking? Ugh, Jesus Lord. I think Edmonton does win, and I think they go on to face Colorado in the conference final. Moving on, we got Boston and Tampa. I have Tampa. I do think Boston does beat this young, feisty Buffalo team. Tampa's just got more experience. Yeah, so again, this is an experience pick. Obviously, these two teams aren't even in, so I'm just going to kind of skip this area because this is me explaining why two teams who didn't make it to the second round are complete, like, no real analysis there. But I did have Tampa making it, and that is the team that came out of that series, which I thought would make it to the conference finals. So let's just get to the next pick. I'm not going to waste your time. I already said it was the competition to lose to Carolina. So obviously I chose Carolina next. I don't need to hear my explanation for that, but I do want to skip ahead here to let me watch the Carolina thing, because that's where most of my analysis is about the conference final matchups, I think. So let's do that. It's either Carolina or Pittsburgh. Pretty simple choice here. I have Carolina.
And it was pretty
Carolina
simple,
doesn't know how to
even though they didn't play Pittsburgh.
When it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, which we'll get to. But they absolutely know how to win a second round, and they'll absolutely know how to win against either a young, inexperienced Flyers team or an old, decrepit
and I think that, and I still stand by that. If Pittsburgh would have made it, I still stand by that. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
It's just now we have the Stanley Cup final, and we have in the final.
So my analysis wasn't here.
Colorado and Tampa.
Okay,
with
yeah.
Colorado winning
That's what I thought.
The Stanley Cup. I know. Boring ass fucking choice. The favorites to win the cup win the cup.
So I didn't even have Carolina making the final. I actually thought I had Carolina making the final. I had Tampa making the fucking final. What was I smoking? What was I on about, bro? Why did I have Tampa? I think I just rode like them losing in the conference final the past 2 years in a row. But Florida's not here anymore, bro. Florida's not here anymore. Lock in. Tampa is not the Florida Panthers. Let's lock the fuck in here. Just because they're from the same fucking state doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm a fucking idiot.
But again, I talked about this. So let's talk about Tampa first. Again, Carolina, they don't perform in the Eastern Conference final. They can't do it. I don't know what they just get figured out, or if they're just
1-5 in the conference final, by the way.
Burned out of playing their boring hockey. I don't know what it is. And I also think Tampa, having the experience that they do, having Nikita Kucherov on this tear, I think that they really I think they just kind of have it figured out. They've had this core, they've had this team more or less for a while, and they've had the unfortunate matchup of the Panthers the past couple seasons, and no one was stopping. So why am I acknowledging the Panthers like Tampa would get further because the Panthers aren't there, but I don't acknowledge that for the Hurricanes? What? Panthers the past couple seasons, but the Panthers aren't here. So I think, Tampa beats Montreal, they go to the Cup. That's what I think. However, if Montreal beats Tampa, I do think Carolina will beat Montreal. I think Carolina will be able to shut down. Never mind, I'm a fucking genius. I told you I fucking said that. I didn't make that fucking shit up in hindsight, bro. If Montreal beat Tampa, they would make the conference finals and lose to Carolina. I'm a fucking genius. Listen to me. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I lied to your fucking face. I know everything about this sport. Montreal, and I don't really have a reason other than the fact that I don't see Montreal making the Stanley Cup final. I just don't. In this
world, I'm so smart.
Yes, Tampa's going to make it against Colorado.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not that smart, but I think I'm pretty smart. It's like almost there.
And it's going to go 2-0 in this rematch. I think Colorado wins. I talked about this earlier in this video. They have no holes. They don't.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even want to hear about that because clearly they do have holes. They got fucking swept by Vegas. But all in all, it's not the worst. It's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad prediction from me. I was pretty wrong. Actually, when I was planning this video, take a look at this. When I was planning this video, I saw this comment. This guy gonna eat a lot of crow. I don't know what that means, but I assumed it meant you're gonna get a lot of shit wrong. So I replied when this video first came out, and I said, "How so?" Look at this guy's prediction. Wild, Canadians, and Flyers are going to win. And I commented 2 days ago. You went 3-3 for that. This dude knows more puck than I do. You know what I mean? This dude knew what the fuck he was talking about 3 months ago because he predicted all of that shit correctly. So you know what? Hey, fair play to this dude. That's going to sum up this video. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did, in fact, like it, leave a like down below, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.